Would you believe me that in the past 10 years I lost zero on car depreciation? Sounds crazy, right? Well, it's not. And today I would like to explain to you that you can probably do it too with pretty much any car. It's not just about finding the right car, it's a lot about timing, a lot of research, understanding the market, understanding trends. Honestly, just serenity and a little more thought. Because unfortunately today we are guided slightly into the wrong direction with us bloggers, marketing and just general tendency of the market. We're in this iPhone mania where we need to have everything brand new and every year. The brands, they come up with strategies of how to sell this to us that we don't feel that, via leasings like I spoke in the previous video. So let's start with my personal experience and how I was able to do it. Since 2014, I've owned over 10 cars, starting from basics. So let me explain how I've managed to do it. Basically, what's happening is the moment the car drives out of the dealership, it drops around 20% plus just straight away, just because you've already registered it and owned it. And then in the next upcoming year, the depreciation for a new car, standard car, not a supercar, well, obviously depending which, goes down to about 30% plus or minus. So the way that I would do it is I would say, okay, I want a fast little car. Let's go into the M2 A45 RS3 zone. Let's take this as a good example. So I start day zero, I open up the market, I look at all the cars that are available. Basically, you end up probably with, I don't know, 20 cars that you could potentially buy. Step number one, honestly, reach out to all of the sellers and propose a killer price. So not like, hey, can you make a 1,000 discount? You go straight up and you be like, hey, I'm ready to buy the car tomorrow. Give me 10%. Probably most of them will tell you no. However, it doesn't mean that it's a no. Car dealers and people who sell cars or resell cars, they don't sell cars every day. It's not like this. The cars sit there for 1 or 2 months, right? So then you sent out all those emails, you probably got all the no's, right? Then you wait a little bit and then you follow back. In about 2-3 weeks, you say, hey, I'm still interested in the car. What's your deal? And that's kind of the first catch where they could answer and say, hey, listen, we're not going to accept your price, but we could meet halfway. And that's halfway is, believe me, quite a good deal. And if it doesn't happen, then you wait a little longer. So give it a month probably of waiting time or, real work on and research on the car. Then let's talk about the car that you're choosing. In order to be safe on the depreciations, you have to look at cars which are 1 to 2, maybe 3-year-old, and then the main goal is not to drive them over 2 years, because if you drive over 2 years, you're obviously going to put around, let's say, 30 to 50,000 kilometers, and then there will be kind of the second price dip that would happen. So you buy the car, you drive it for 1-2 years, and the painful part is you're obviously going to like the car. You have to sell it. You can't keep it, because if you keep it, it will just start dipping, A, and B, because with all our lovely car manufacturers today, there's going to be a new model that's going to come out. So you have to be very careful to understand that either your car is not too old or it's the newest model today. And that's pretty much how I did it. So for example, I had the AMG A45. I've bought one with, that was back in 2015, I think. What happened is that they launched the brand new A45 and they did a lot of test driving cars. So I bought one which was test driven by clients. It had 10,000 kilometers. I bought it, drove it for 1.5-2 years and sold it when still kind of the hype around it was still there and I could find a good client for it. Basically, I sold it at zero loss. And that's how I did it with pretty much all my cars. Then another great suggestion, it obviously really much depends on where you live, but always discover possibilities of buying cars abroad. If you live in Europe, well, ideally what I did, I used to live in Switzerland and I would buy all my cars in Germany. So because of the VAT in Switzerland, which is around 8%, and in Germany it's around 19%, just on buying the car, you are saving 10%. And then on the German market, the cars are generally cheaper because there's just way more choice. So then what happens, you import the car and you get the 10% back. And obviously, depending on the exchange rate, euro to Swiss franc, sometimes it got more expensive, sometimes it got cheaper. So that was kind of a cool thing. But even if you live, I don't know, let's say in Germany, well, no, you have too many cars in Germany. But let's say you live, I don't know, maybe in Poland or something. Have a look at the German market. You know, if you live in, I don't know, Croatia, have a look at also the German market. Or you live in Switzerland, have a look at the German market. I look at cars pretty much everywhere. You know, I bought cars in Spain, in Germany, I bought cars in Belgium. You know, just look at everything that's out there, because maybe what could happen is you would find a car in a different country, which maybe wouldn't be cheaper, but would be a more interesting spec. And that takes me to another very important point, is spec. When you buy the car, always make sure that it has all the necessary specs and equipment for this models. I mean, even if it's a 1 Series, or it's a Peugeot, or a Citroën, or a Golf, you know, whatever. Make sure it has the real basic stuff, you know, that we need in the car, is like seat heating, ideally a rear view camera, cruise control, all the attention assists, because even if it's not important for you, like for example, it's not really important for me to have the automatic driving assist for the M2 that I own right now, I still have it on my car because I know that when I resell the car, it's going to be a very important point, and my car, just because of this, will stand out. Or for example, when I was buying the M2, I made sure that I have all the carbon spec inside. Personally, I don't care if it's carbon or it's this piano black material or plastic, it doesn't matter. But I know that when you sell it, you want to have that carbon, because the person buying, he will see the carbon and say, oh, that's cool. Same goes for the flappy pedals or the sound system. So important. Never buy a car that's under-spec'd, because the moment you're going to flip it, believe me, either you're going to go on the bottom of the list just because you don't have those necessary options that, you know, other cars have. Same goes for the colors. Don't think of yourself what you would like. Don't overspend on a color that in future, you know, will not really add that much value. Same goes for the options. Always have to be the perfect balance, because, I mean, if you're buying the car for yourself and you don't care about depreciation, then yeah, go full send on everything. But some things just don't add this extra value, which is important to understand. You usually have the good base minimum, but not over that, because when it goes over that, that means you're overpaying. That means when you're selling, you're probably going to take a hit. Car warranty, something really important. When you buy a car that's already 3 years old, that means the warranty is probably already out. That means it's extremely important to either buy cars before they're 3 years old, and then you can do the extension, which is not that expensive, but it will be a huge, huge negotiation point when you sell the car. Or when you buy a car that's over 3 years old, ideally try to find one which already has warranty. So to conclude on how I managed it for myself in a very kind of short list is A, discover all the cars around me, let's say in Europe, everywhere in Europe. Look at everything that's out there. B, set the car that you want, ideally not the exact car, but maybe the type. So let's say, as I was talking, M2, R3, AMG 45, you know, or if we talk 5 Series, look at E-Class. You know, be open for a better deal rather than the car that you actually want to have, if you're, of course, interested to not be struck with car depreciation. Look at cars that are over 1.5 plus years old, that have around 10,000 kilometers plus, because if it's under 10,000 kilometers, then you would obviously people ask for premiums because of the super low mileage, but it doesn't really matter. Cars are meant to run way longer. Negotiations, send as many emails as you can, make as many phone calls as you can. Don't rush. They will tell you that there's a client coming tomorrow. Whatever, say yes, and then call them back in 2 weeks. And if the car is sold, well, whatever, take it. Maybe it wasn't your car, you know? Tell me in the comments which car in the past, let's say 5 years, was the best buy that keeps the value under 100K. I'm actually curious to hear what is your opinion on car value. If you found this video helpful to you, put a big like and write that to me in the comments. And yeah, I'm cooking quite a few cool videos for the future. The video for next week will be about the ultimate dream collection, but also not just stupidly dreaming, but about cars which will appreciate in the upcoming time. And tell me, which car do you think was the least successful ever? Which lost like the craziest depreciation ever since new, which was like the biggest flop of any brand? Because that could be some very funny examples. I have a few in my head, but I'm actually curious about what you think. And thank you so much for watching another video. I'm really trying to pull one video a week. It's quite difficult, but I love it. It's a challenge for me. You guys are helping. Thank you so much to all of you who engaged into the past 2 videos. I'm reading all the comments. I'm trying to answer to most. Even if I didn't reply, it means I did read it because I read all of them. And I love to hear like your opinions, your thoughts, what your experiences are. Honestly, it's amazing. I love you guys. I love the community we're building here because it's really the real one, the proper petrolhead community, which is not behind trends, which is really behind pure passion, pure driving, and really let's keep this channel growing in this direction. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week on Sunday, 4 p.m. European time. Maybe 3 p.m. I'm not sure. Cheers guys, bye.